Hello everyone, welcome to my shop. In this video I'm going to be upgrading the Trackspec hood vents on my 350Z with their new Wicker bill setup. This setup is supposed to increase flow as well as increase a little bit of the downforce that you get just because of venting the hood. Unfortunately, I don't have an install on these vents. I installed them before I started doing these videos. I will say I've been extremely happy with these. I've had them for about a year and a half now. You can just watch the heat come out of them, so improving the flow out of them even more should just be a nice improvement. Plus I think they're going to look pretty cool. I'm going to get some things together. I'm going to show you what comes in the kit and what you need to install them, assuming you already have the hood vents installed, and then we'll go ahead and get started. To do this install, assuming you've already got your vents installed and your hood, you don't actually need a lot of tools. You are going to have to drill out some rivets, so you are going to need some 1/8 inch drill bits as well as a drill. There are going to be some bolts that you're going to use just because you can't get rivets to them. You will need a 1/16 Allen wrench as well as a 1/4 inch wrench and or socket set. And then you will be installing some new rivets, so you will need a new rivet. A rivet gun of some kind, either a battery powered one or a manual one or an air one if you've got one. The one other thing that you will need is you will need something underneath your hood to keep any debris from falling in as you're drilling out the old rivets. In all honesty, I'm going to use the box that the hood vents came in because it should be a good size. When you order the upgrade kit, assuming you ordered the full upgrade kit for the full vent set, you get both side vent wickers as well as the center wicker. You get a couple of packages of black longer rivets to help us attach, as well as several small nuts and bolts in order to bolt down. You won't be able to rivet in the corners just because of the way things are shaped. They also include this nice little CFD printout just kind of showing you what these wicker bills can do. To do this install, as I mentioned, you are going to have to drill out several of the rivets. I've got the center as well as the driver's side wicker here. You can see there's several holes already drilled in this, or molded into these wickers. So I'm going to have to drill out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rivets on the center, as well as it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So kind of all around here on both side vents. I'm going to start with the center one. As I mentioned, you're going to put rivets in all of these, but these corner ones you're probably not going to be able to. That's why they include the nut and bolt hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and get something underneath the hood here to catch any of the debris that falls out as I drill out the rivets, and then we'll come back. I'm going to go ahead and start drilling out the rivets with my 1/8 inch drill bit. On the center one, I need to go up one from the corners all the way across the front. I don't need to worry about any of these ones on the center rib. You're going to want to be super careful. If you really care about the paint on your hood, you're probably going to want to put some masking tape, painter's tape, something around here, just because you're going to have metal shavings and stuff come up. My hood is already not in great shape, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to be really careful, and I'm going to vacuum between each rivet just to pull up any of the shavings so I don't scratch anything. Once again, as I said, I do have a box under here to catch any debris that falls from underneath the hood. So I'm going to go ahead and start drilling these out, and I'll come back when I'm ready to start installing the wicker. I drilled out all the rivets for the center vent that I need to remove. One thing to note, the kit did not come with new washers for the back side of the rivets, so I did salvage the washers off the back side of the rivets from my original. I just had to drill them out and just kind of peeled them off with a set of pliers here. I'm going to start out and I'm going to put a couple of rivets in to help hold the vent back down. These do have a nice little recess in it, so that pretty much just lines it up exactly as it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the ones that I know are a little easier to get to on the back side. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple rivets in. That'll help me kind of riveting everything down. I said the corners are going to be nut and bolt, so I'm going to go ahead and start. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and use my battery rivet gun here. Get a washer on the back side so I can push down, get a good. So there's one. Go ahead and do the next one, and then I'll go ahead and finish it off afterwards, and I'll come back and we'll talk about the bolt part of this. So one thing I'm going to note, you do have to be careful. This is only an injection molded rubber piece. This rivet here pulled in really, really tight. I think I'm going to actually end up drilling this out because it puckered so bad. Even some of these other ones, I'm a little concerned about how much they move material. So you don't actually need to press down too hard when you're riveting these in. We'll kind of see how they work. Next up, I'm going to grab 2 of the bolts and bolt through these corners. As I said, you need a 1/16 Allen key, and you're going to need a 1/4 inch ratchet or wrench. You just simply won't be able to get your rivet tool into the corners here. So I'm going to go ahead, fish in washers, nuts, and things like that, and go ahead and get these corners bolted down. Alright, after struggling to try and get to the nuts on the back side, I do have the center vent fully installed at this point. So far, I said it looks pretty good. I'm a little concerned because this front leading edge does not seem as stiff as I would expect it to be. I said I do need to replace this center rivet, but I've got a post sticking out I'm going to have to grind off with a Dremel. So I'm going to come back and do that at a later time. At this point, I'm going to start going through the same process. It'll be 1 up from the corner and the 4 across the front, and I'll do it on both sides. Same process, drill them out, have something underneath to catch the debris, salvage the rivets. Rivets on the wherever you can, bolts wherever you can't. Once I get both sides done, we'll come back and wrap things up. At this point, I have all 3 of the Wickers in place. I've got a couple of rivets I'm not happy with, and a couple that the ones that they supplied are just simply too long for the thin sheet metal that's there. I think I'm actually going to end up buying a few more of the bolts that they supplied. They're little button heads with nuts. They honestly seem to work better. Said several situations where I got just the break strength of the rivet is enough to actually just pucker the material really, really bad. I had a lot more control where I had the bolts. So I said I'm going to probably end up drilling some of these rivets out and replacing them with some bolts. I think one of the first customers to get this for the 350Z, although they have been selling these for other vehicles now for a little while. So I am going to reach out to them and let them know the troubles that I had. Hopefully they'll do something a little different in the future. If nothing else, at least provide a few shorter rivets, because the rivets that should go right here and right here, it's a single layer of metal, and even with a washer on the back side, the rivet's not breaking where it's supposed to. There you have it. The install of the Wicker set for the 350Z hood vents from Trackspec Motorsports. As I said, there were a few things that I'm not super happy about that I'm going to talk to them about. As I said, in all honesty, I think that the nut and bolt fasteners work better than the rivets just because of the type of material they used. I'm going to end up probably drilling out several of my rivets just because I think it's a better fitment. But I do like the look. I think they look really cool. Hopefully we'll see if it helps with my twin turbo system in this car. I do get plenty of heat. I've got a competition in a week and a half. It's probably going to be pretty hot in June, so we'll see if I can get a little bit more flow, see if I can keep my temperatures down a little bit. Reach out to them if you're interested. I said they look pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to see how they work out. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. If you want to see other videos, comment below, let me know what you want to see, and we'll see it in the future.